Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently still working our way through our deficit of tanks. We need 25,000 of them, and we're producing about 100 per day. We've worked through about half of this deficit at this point, but we've pushed them out of Norway, and we have also made some level of progress in Africa. As long as we keep our offensives fairly limited, this is fine. We're not actually having any significant issues right now. So let's continue our offensive in Africa for the moment, and we are, I believe, about to push them out of this area. Maybe. They brought reinforcements in, so I guess for the moment that's fine. This is absolutely okay. Canceling Lend-Leases, yeah, that's reasonably expected. I am not particularly upset about that. So this is still being constructed here. Noted. Let's check in on our construction real quick, actually. Yeah, that's going to be a while yet. We don't really need these constructions in Western Norway anymore, so I'm going to get rid of those. This is very laggy, but let's get that done. Fantastic. We're working on some anti-air primarily. That is fine. Cool. So no problem whatsoever there. We're going to continue to attack in British Congo, but they're moving reinforcements around. This is reasonably expected, to be honest. I'm actually a little surprised we pushed in here before this supply depot got finished. So that is fine, completely and totally. We're going to be done exhorting heroism, encouraging frugality, and bolstering spirits shortly. We do want to continue to work on this war support. No doubt about that. However, we've got this unassigned division. This is just an infantry division, and that should go here, I believe. Sure. We're probably going to want to rework our reserve theater eventually. But for the time being, this is reasonably fine. Now, I'm thinking about launching this attack next after we have finished up in Africa. We're actually making solid progress over here. This would potentially cut them in half. Or not really in half, but this section up here would be eliminated. Which is fascinating. Because that's where they have their level 10 naval base. They've got a level 7 naval base here, so supplies are going to be flowing pretty much no matter what. But we are making solid progress over here at this moment. And if we check in on our tanks, 24,233, we're making positive progress on our tank count as well. So that is great. We're going to push them out over here, almost certainly. Less than a day at this point. And there we go. We're on our way in. So that looks great. They want to do more Lend-Lease. I'm not going to accept this at this time, I feel like. Okay, they're moving reinforcements in here, but that is reasonably expected. So that's fine. We're completely okay with this stalled out in the way that it is. I want to check in down this direction. Okay, so this is definitely noted. The main problem here is a lack of supplies down this way. I suppose we could put a supply hub here and upgrade this railroad. We'll get going on that, but that's going to be a long-term project. I'm not shocked if that doesn't do anything. We're going to be done with these in just 3 days, so that looks good. Let's do a region-wide industrial integration, and I want to get a military factory. We can actually build one in Bessarabia, as well as in Ulizuz, but that is not somewhere where we actually want to build them. We can build 3 here and 3 here, though, and that's pretty solid. We can also build one here. So getting some of these military factories built is pretty decent, all things considered. We can't build any up over this way. That is reasonably expected. What about up over here? That's considered a foreign territory. Okay. There are some territories here, though. Cool. So we'll get those going. That's a fair amount of military factories that we're going to toss into tank production. So let's get those underway. We're definitely winning these attacks out this direction. The attacks are constant here. So what we really want to do is just slowly grind through that, and that's absolutely fine. Now we're going to re-exhort heroism. Keep in mind we are... Okay, we can't actually do these. Keep in mind that we are roughly negative in our political power at this moment. That's okay. And we're also currently not pushing into these areas. That's also reasonably fine. The major thing that we need here is construction of this supply hub, which was going to be done when? 9 September. Okay, so that's a ways out. No major concern there. Cool. So we're not going to do any further pushing up this way. We are going to push through France over here reasonably soon. The question is, do we think we can be tank positive and attack with the one singular army that is actually going to be pushing through France? Let's give it a go. I kind of want to find out. So we've started these attacks. This is a fairly widespread attack, but we're definitely pushing them back. The real question is, are we going to be tank positive or are we going to stall this out again? That's the question. We're absolutely making gains, and we can just stop again if we need to. But this is a pretty successful push thus far. Yeah, this is a quite successful push. They're transferring forces from up here. Note. So once these forces arrive, we are probably going to want to stop and try to consolidate. I'm keeping an eye out over here. I kind of want these guys to push up over this way and cut this off. They definitely have forces moving in, which is telling me that we're going to want to start an attack up here fairly soon and just kind of like alternate between these two fronts. Okay. Pushes are starting to get a little tougher. I want to take a look here. 22,867. That is currently positive. Okay. So we can see these guys here. I want to make sure these, actually, basically all of these units. I want to make sure that these guys are attacking out over here. Just the tanks. Let's have just the tanks move in here. Get in there. This is going to get eliminated, so that's absolutely wonderful. There is a dangerous naval invasion in the Caribbean. Where are the forces that are supposed to be on Cuba? Okay, I guess Cuba is going to go away. That's not the biggest of deals. We did have units here. I'm not sure where they got redirected to. But I guess we could tell these guys to get up there. I don't think they'll get there in time. But I'd like them to come area defense up in Cuba. Apparently, some of these units forgot about it. Well, we'll get them up there. I doubt we'll get there in time. So, that's a little bit of an oversight, certainly. And we're going to eliminate the units over here for sure. The question is, do we want to launch an attack up here soon? Well, I'd like to get these guys eliminated first. And then we can start thinking about it. Now we can see some of these units have pulled out. That's fine. We stack wiped a couple of them. That looks good. And this area is under our control. So Brittany has fallen. Perfect. Now they've got additional forces moving in. I'm going to check in on our tank count. 22,487. So it is still, it's roughly holding at this current juncture. Okay. So that's reasonably fine. They're trying to counterattack up over here. That's not going very well for them. And that seems good. Okay, so checking in on Cuba here. Yeah, this is going to happen. I want these guys here, all of them. I want to just select this entire army. Thank you. I'm going to have them frontline over here. With the goal being offensive lining, you know, something like this. It'll take them some time to get there. Unable to find valid path to target. What do you mean? You just use this naval base and go to this naval... Oh, there's no naval base up here. That's why. Okay, well, I guess Cuba falls. Sure. That's okay. We can get that back. Cuba is not a big deal here. And to be honest, that will make things a little easier for us. So I would like these guys to be merged into this unit. There we go. And you apparently don't have orders. You can get merged into this unit as well. So that's this one? Yeah, okay. So something like that. I'm not too concerned about Cuba, to be honest. We'll get it back. No big deal. But that was an oversight on my part. Absolutely. So we're going to continue to push in here. I'm considering running an attack from this unit up in the north of Germany right now. Let's try it and see how it goes. Okay. I'm calling off that attack for the moment. I'm not seeing significant gains there, and I don't really want to risk too many tanks here. We're already roughly even on our tank count, right? So I don't want to push that. For the moment, we may want to stop here and consolidate our gains. So what that would end up looking like is we would construct here, or we just leave it be. We're probably okay to just leave it be for the time being. Now, we have made some potential gains up here, but I'm mostly just leaving these tanks be. I think we made one singular gain there. Okay, that's fine for now. I don't think we need to construct any defenses here. We've got our fallback line here, and that's reasonably fine. Yeah, we're still seeing some attacks happening here. Okay. This is fine. This is absolutely fine. I want to check in on our tank count. 22,000, almost even. Okay, so tank count is definitely improving. Looks reasonably solid. So we know that there's this dangerous... Hang on. They're not pushing out further here? Okay. I'm going to build up in Cuba here. I'm going to grab these units and move them into a new area here. And they're going to frontline here, with the offensive line being like this, and they're told to execute that. We'll see if they manage to get there in time to save Cuba. I don't know that they will. But those guys are not really progressing in any meaningful way. So that seems relatively okay. I'll put these guys here for now. Cool. So we're definitely seeing them attempting attacks over here. It's not going very well for them, but we're just consolidating at this position a little bit. Looks good. To be honest, we're going to be launching tank attacks here again fairly soon. I'd like to push up to this line. And let's move into this theater here. There we go. Let's go. So we're going to continue to press in France. Beautiful. Yeah, this is looking fine for now. We'll just have to take little pauses here and there to allow our tanks to reach the front line and repopulate. I want to check in Africa. We're seeing big gains here, though. Do we have the ability to create any factories here? No. Okay. What about infrastructure? Actually, yes. There is some infrastructure to be constructed here, and we'll get going on that. Now, down in Africa, things are actually pretty good here. So we need to take these guys and extend out this line here. What's going on? Front line. There we go. We need to extend these lines. So this front line needs to be extended like so. There we go. I'm going to tell these guys to stop moving. And these guys to stop moving for now. Then we need to grab our tank division here. Tell them to forget about this existing line because this has significantly changed. At this point, we want it down here. Cool. So this is under control up here. That looks great. They can't attack from here. And we're attacking over this direction. If we could grab this naval base, then these guys are all stranded. That would be amazing. Checking up over in France, things are looking decent here. They're trying to do counterattacks, but it's not really going very well, to be honest. So that's fine. I want to push up to this border here. That is the primary goal at this point. I'd love to see Belgium capitulate, because Belgium is the reason all of this happened. So that would be absolutely phenomenal. We're going to continue to push in here now that we've fairly recovered this area. I'm checking in on the organization and supply levels of our tanks here, and they're looking okay. They're not phenomenal, but they're looking okay. They're definitely attempting to attack on this side, which is kind of funny, because we're currently squishing them from this side, and that's not going to go well for them, to be honest. These guys would be cut off from up here, but they can go through the Prussian territory, so that's not a big concern. Okay, checking in down here. Cool. So I want to make sure that we have supplies up over this way, and we definitely do. Let's motorize this hub, and then this hub is currently still under construction. Hilarious. But with this hub, we should be able to supply this area pretty well. So Bata has fallen, and British Congo has capitulated. Now, we don't have any way to get down to this area, right? But I want these guys to immediately get in here and take over Libreville. If we can do that, then that's huge. Because that would mean that the naval base falls. There's very little that they can actually do here. We know that they don't have forces out this way right now. They're not moving that way either. So that's noted. Absolutely noted. We're fighting here, which is what we want. So all of these forces are on their way in. And I want all of these units attacking here. Get these guys knocked out of this. Beautiful. Now they're going to try to take territory down here, but as long as Libreville falls, none of that matters. Because suddenly they're going to have no supplies here, and I believe it just fell. Yeah, we are on our way in here. They do not have forces on the way. Other than perhaps these guys that just took over this. But Libreville is going to fall, and once that does fall, there we go. These guys have no supplies. None at all. So I wish them luck with that. Checking in on France over here. We've largely got this under control. It's getting a little bit tougher for us to push through this area. That's relatively okay. We might pause our offensive here briefly. I'm thinking about it. And just consolidate a little bit. What's our supply situation like? It's kind of okay, actually. Although it looks like we could use some railway up to this line here. So there's a lot of railway here that is not currently upgraded. That is noted. So some railway up over this way would be phenomenal. But there's a lot of unupgraded railway over here. That's the primary issue. But it looks like we're actually making solid gains here still. So let's continue with that for the moment. This is all going to get wrapped up very, very swiftly. And we'll have no problem dealing with this. These guys are all going to get stack wiped. It's just a matter of time. These are now encircled. That's a lot of encircled units, to be quite honest. So that's looking great. No problem here. These guys are virtually encircled as well. We're seeing stack wipes happening here. That's all great. So Amazonas, huh? Over here? Sure. So they did manage to take over all of Cuba. I'm not surprised about that. These guys are all going to be moved back into... Is that this force? Yes, it is. They're going to be moved back into here, and let's make sure that these guys move in and help defend this area. Okay. So we're working on kicking them out of France at this point. They are basically gone from France. France is virtually under our control again. And I'm thinking here, how are we doing on tank count? Tank count is 21,480. So tank count is currently improving with both of these going on. But this is a mop-up operation in Africa at this point. Okay, so this is all dealt with. We'll get that under our control. Africa is over. Assuming that they don't do naval invasions here, which they might. So that is absolutely fine. Now we're going to be working on Belgium here. And we're making solid gains across this front in Belgium. So this looks good. I have no problem with what's going on here right now. Okay, southern Norway, huh? Well, we have forces right here. We should not lose this. 19 light infantry brigades, huh? They're attempting to attack here, but these guys are on their way in to reinforce. I actually want these guys up over here because this is currently losing. Okay, so these guys should absolutely move here. And in we go. This is going to fail, and that's no problem whatsoever. So we're going to hold this area. This should be fine. We have additional forces on the way here as well. So I don't think there's a problem there. There is a bit of an issue here. Cannot counter... Yeah, we can't counter that unit. That's fine. I want this guy to come in here. They have no supplies here, so that's absolutely A-okay. We'll get that handled. Attack here. They have no supplies. They're stack wiped. Beautiful. We're winning this defense at this point, and that shouldn't be any sort of a problem. So coming down to Belgium here, Belgium will capitulate quite soon. They haven't yet, but how close are they right now? Well, not very, but I think they will capitulate the moment that Brussels falls. So that's fine. I kind of want to commit these forces over here to attacking as well. So let's start the anvil here. or rather, this is supposed to be the hammer and this was supposed to be the anvil. It's kind of the opposite right now, but we can see this attack is going reasonably well. They are definitely struggling to hold this, so we're just going to pincer them from the two sides here, and there's very little they can do about this. So this looks good. There's a lot of forces here right now. A whole lot of forces. Beautiful. So we've got these guys down here that do not currently have orders. What do we want them to do? Well, what indeed? For the moment, we don't really have anything that we want them to do. We just want to get this cleaned up. So for the moment, they're a little bit extraneous, and as long as they're not taking attrition, which they kind of are, they're okay. We might want to consider having these guys come area defend, like, over here. I don't know. This is really out of their wheelhouse, but for the moment, something kind of like this. Just defend these shores a bit. Sure. And then I'm going to leave the tanks where they are for the moment, and once the infantry leave, that should be relatively fine. So we're making extremely solid gains here. Northern South America, Canada has attacked here, but they have no supplies. So we're going to bring these guys in here. That seems like no problem whatsoever. I'm wondering what our current status in Canada is, and I want to check up here. Canada has been a problem for us. I'm just looking at our supply situation up here, and it looks pretty okay, to be honest. I'm going to motorize these two hubs, and I'm also going to motorize this hub. So all of those hubs are now completed. That looks solid. I'm not going to attack in Canada yet because this is going to be driving a lot of tank requirement. Belgium has capitulated. That was expected. Beautiful. Ooh, a nuke right into Cologne. Okay, that's not something we've done. This is quite a pocket that we've created up over here. And we are working on attacking it. It looks okay. They do have a level 1 naval base there, but that's not really a problem. Cool. So, yeah, this offensive is going very well for us. We are seeing some lost attacks in the center here, but this is just pure chaos right now. Absolute pure chaos, and the fronts are meeting up. There's very little that they can do about this. They have lost. Period. End of story. They have lost. So this is wonderful. We're kicking them off of the main continent. Seems great. In Northern South America, they still have these units here. They don't have any supplies. So we're going to attack them there. That seems good. Germany is very nearly done. Hohenzollern has capitulated. A great victory for all of Carpetania. Indeed. Excellent. And they are really, really pincered here. There's very little they can do. All we needed was tanks. Just a supply of tanks. And there's just an absolute crush of units here. Like, look at the sheer number of units that are pocketed here. That is insane. Absolutely wild. And they're going to stack wipe. They've got 84 units here. Like, over 100 units are in this pocket alone. They've got up here several dozen additional units. Up here, several dozen additional. And there's just nothing they can do. It's just over. We can see that they're heavily stack wiping over here. They're trying to retreat in, but it's not going well. It's not going well at all. Stack wipe, yep, they're just gone. All of those units just suddenly gone. So that is wonderful. Look at that. 13.86 million losses. Insane. Absolutely wild. We're going to continue to press in here. These guys are in the same situation. These are in the same situation. These are pretty much in the same situation as well. They have very few toeholds on the continent now. I want to check in. Yeah, this is fine. I know our naval situation is grim. I want to check in over here. We want to continue to attack these. They have no supplies. So we're just going to continue to whittle them down. Up in Canada proper, we're going to launch an attack as soon as we're done with our cleanup operation in Europe, which is going to be very, very soon here. We're seeing a lot of stack wipes happening. And we're not done stack wiping their units yet. So I want to check in on our tank count. Our tank count is 20,000 still. Not bad. We had a few losses out of that, but mostly we held our deficit firm. That's really good. Northwestern Iberia, we should have this under control. We have Marines here defending this, and that should be no problem. These are all stack wiping. Wonderful. I want to check in on this situation here. We're still working on it. And they're going to stack wipe shortly. Yeah, there they go. They're beginning to stack wipe. 1 and 0. There we go. Perfect. So that's under control. No issues there. This pocket is dealt with, and we've just got these 2 left. We're seeing stack wipes up here. And down this direction, there's still some holdouts in Amsterdam. But they're not going to be able to hold up to this. They have only this level 5 naval base to bring them supplies. And it's not going to go well. There's a lot of units coming at them here. They're not all going to go away. Not yet. Not all of our units are headed there, and it's going to take us some time to clean up this pocket. But we're definitely making solid progress here. We can see they're up to 14.42 million losses now. Yeah, this is not going well for them at all. We are definitely winning this war. Fantastic. Now, we could consider launching our attack up in Canada. The question is now the time? We need 20,000 additional tanks. Most of those tanks are probably required in this area. I'm just watching these stack wipes here. We're done up over this way. Okay, that seems great. So the European Confederacy is kicked out of Europe at this point. They have basically no holdings left in Europe. That is phenomenal. The real question is, are we ready to attack Canada? Well, we can bolster spirits and exhort frugality, so we're going to do that. I want to check in on our tank supply up here. It's broadly okay. Uh-huh. So this should be reasonably good then. We can take this army here and tell them to begin their attack. I'm going to grab these guys as well. That is this army. They can begin attacking up in the north. We'll see what happens here. Right off the bat, those are some pretty decent attacks. I like it. So that's solid. We'll allow that to continue. We shouldn't be suffering significant tank losses over here at this point. This is just a cleanup operation, so it should be relatively fine. Pretty much all of our tank production is going to reinforcement at this point, but we only need 19,000. Canada decrypted our ciphers. Okay. Speaking of which, we should probably do machine-assisted encryption. There we go. And if we can drive a wedge in here, that would be phenomenal. But we'll see how that ends up going. We've got plenty of units assigned to this. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to finish kicking them out of Europe, and we're going to see about making some solid gains in Canada. This is going to be a little bit tougher of fighting. We'll see how this ends up going. It'll be interesting. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamers, Shadow Wolf, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.